The Patrick Riggins Show. Call in now, 865-243-TALK. That's 243-8255. And now your host, Patrick Riggins.
Born to be wild. This is Patrick Riggins, your wild child of talk radio. The rebel, if you will. Interestingly, I don't think I would be considered a rebel by the founders of this country. In fact, I'd be considered a national treasure, a patriot fighting for the freedom of all Americans, and for that matter, all humans, because we are all born with natural human rights. And regardless of whether any particular government wants to acknowledge that fact or not, on this radio show, we do. Helping to get our message out is the 100,000-watt talk radio signal of the Southeast, 100.3 WNOX. Our massive and wide-ranging signal is currently being heard in parts of 5 states and 2 time zones. But even with all of that, that's not enough. There are people needing to hear our message all around the world. And with that in mind, you can receive this broadcast live over the internet at www.wnoxfm.com. You can also listen to any of our past shows archived over at our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Patrick Riggins Show. But if you want to listen live, and hey, you can even watch too, the website address again is wnoxfm.com. If you live out on the outer fringes of our signal area and aren't getting that web address clearly, it's to use the phonics: Whiskey, November, Oscar, X-Ray, Foxtrot, Mike.com. And speaking of whiskey, our show producer Tori is here with us in the studio.
Yeah, I saw that one coming.
Yeah. I was getting in the cab down there at O'Charlie's and come on over, so. Yeah. Oh, he's going to try to make a segue, a liquor drinking joke.
So what are you saying?
I'm just saying, when I think whiskey, I think Tori.
Yeah, well, okay.
Yeah, that sounds like a commercial.
Yeah. Drink responsible, kids.
Yeah. Yes, just send it to Tori so you don't have to drink it. Thank you again for listening this week. We're one of the fastest growing and most popular shows on the dial. It is the Patrick Riggins Show. This show has been breaking records for listener growth almost, since it began last year. And the reason for that, of course, is you, the loyal audience of this show. You're tuning in by the thousands to hear what is rapidly becoming a scarce commodity in this country. What is that? Well, it's logic and reason, used to consistently define freedom and the defense of the natural rights of all humans everywhere, not just Americans. Because either these rights apply to everyone or they apply to no one. Because we are all human. Thus, we are all born with rights which we vigorously defend on this show. Unfortunately, the government, along with a complicit media, they'd like to work to split us all up. They are constantly trying to pit one group of humans against the other. Have you ever really stopped to think about that? We talk about on this show about how stupid wars are. Wars aren't fought between people. Very rarely does the population of one country want to wipe out or kill the population of another. It's the governments that do. They want to defeat the government of another country. But they don't want to put themselves at risk. Instead, they feel it's necessary to send our military men and women to go die in their places. And what for? Oh, sure, we're told it's to defend our country, defend our way of life, but it isn't. It's to teach that other government a lesson. Nothing more. That lesson usually is something along the lines of leave the companies who are doing business in that particular country, and at the same time bribing our politicians here in this country. Leave those companies alone. And since most companies don't have their own military, it is so much more convenient to send ours to do the dirty work there, all in the name of defending our freedom. Against what, you may ask? Well, right now, it's against terrorists. We used to sacrifice our freedoms and rights in this country so we could fight communism. But as that system started to collapse upon itself, we found we needed a new boogeyman to fight. You see, we always need someone or something to fight against. For the most part, we used to mind our own business in this country. But as companies expanded across the world, they found it necessary to have the American military go in and clear a path for them to do business. And if that particular country didn't want to play ball, well, then the CIA was more than happy to go in and help, quote, freedom fighters, the rebels, overthrow that oppressive regime. Never mind the replacement regime was just as oppressive. It didn't matter because they were business friendly. So what's a few thousand or a few 100,000 dead bodies when it helps companies to do business in that country? It's all numbers back in this country anyway, back here in Washington. Even today, we're killing, quote, terrorists all around the world without trials, without an appeals process. And all we see here in the media is, 20-something terrorists killed at a barbecue on the border of Afghanistan and Pakistan. Sure, a lot of them were women and children and even men with nothing to do whatsoever with terrorism. They were just trying to stay alive in an unstable region of the world. Pretty much what's been going on for generations there. But someone was attending the party who looked like he could have been a terrorist or even might have been confirmed as helping to plan an attack in his country. So we killed him, along with everyone else around him. Oh, well, too bad for those people. Too bad those natural human rights don't apply to them. Anyway, we're up on the first break of the Patrick Riggin Show. We have a lot, of course. We never get to everything on this show. But join us after a couple of minutes, and we'll try our best. This is Patrick Riggins. We'll see you in a little bit.